Hello, everyone. How you guys doing? It's your boy Dave Saxologist on Saxofriends. Today I have another special guest. Today I have a singer, songwriter. Brother's a real crooner, real smooth brother. Remind me of the Four Tops. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, Manhattan transferred to Manhattan, so he's smooth now. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you all, Mr. Chauncey Love. Chauncey, how you doing,
Thank
bro?
I'm doing all right. It's definitely an honor to be here. I've been following you for a while now through social media on different platforms. So, like I said, it's just an honor to be here, and I can't wait to get this thing off
Well,
and
you know what?
started.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Hey, iron sharpens iron because I've been watching you as well, you know,
Yes, sir.
and that's why I said, let me bring because I like to get more singers on here. So I said, let me get my man Chauncey Love here, man, smooth brother. So
Right, right.
let's get a little background on you, Chauncey. Where you from, brother?
I am from Portsmouth, Virginia.
All right, Virginia. All right.
Yes.
When did you start singing? How old were you when you started singing?
Uh, I actually started singing like at the age of 4. I became interested in pursuing at the age of 14. But in between time, from the age of 4 to the age of 14, um, I was a lead singer in the church youth choir, and I also was I participated in on a few child search uh, competitions.
Okay.
So when I turned 14, I began to travel up and down the East Coast, as going as far as I would say like New York to possibly like North Carolina, in between that space, performing live, being a live entertainer.
At 14?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you wasn't playing with it, bro. You
I was around a lot of adults. I can tell you
I can
that.
imagine, man. So let me
Yes,
ask you
sir.
this too, though, brother. Now, growing up, I know you're into the church as well. You're a God fearing brother. So do you play any instruments?
Yes, sir. Yes, I play an alto saxophone. I actually just started playing um last October.
Oh yeah. All right.
Last October.
Last October, you play altos. What? That's cool. I thought I saw you on there with God horns, right? God's horns.
Yes, sir. God's horn.
Yeah. So when did you become interested
And
in?
we are.
I'm sorry.
No, I was getting ready to say that we we have. Well, I started with God's horns. I would say April 2024,
Okay.
and we have traveled around the United States, performing at places like Showtime at the Apollo Theater. Um, we also performed on Dr. Bobby Jones' television show in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
We also performed at one of Tyler Perry's parties in Atlanta. Let's see, what else. I'm having a brain fart here.
That's all right. You
Um,
driving too, so I understand. You got to concentrate on what you're doing too.
oh yeah, I just parked, but and oh yeah, and we also just opened up for Pastor Shirley Caesar in Baltimore, Maryland.
Man, that must have been an honor there. How was that show?
It was amazing. She was on her way while we were on stage. She was on her way to the mega church we were performing at on stage, and she was on her way on her tour bus. And when she got there, we had finished our show, and she was the last to perform. And one of my bandmates had stayed back and said that she asked about me personally. She was like, "Who is that young man leading the band, the lead singer of the band?" And I had already got back on the road to come back to Virginia. But I think that it was just an honor for her to be able to recognize, like it was just an honor for her to recognize me and we didn't even cross paths physically at all that whole day.
Right, right. Hey, that's amazing, man. So as you were growing up, though, where did you get your influence to start singing first? Well, who were your influences?
So my musical influences came directly from Motown. My parents, I have older parents, so they played Motown. My mom would play Motown hits when she would clean the house. Uh, if she was in the bathroom, like so, I grew up listening to Motown all my entire childhood, and my one of my major influences was Marvin Gaye, Smokey Robinson, the likes of Sam Cooke, the greats.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
goes on, all the greats, all of them, and I was styling myself, based off of how they're pieces style and adding it to my own repertoire.
yeah. You know what? That's awesome, man. You know, I could, like when I was introducing you, I could tell, man. Even though you're a younger man, you got an old soul, man. You know what I'm saying? So I see that. I see the dramatics and the new birth in you, brother. You know what I mean? I see.
Those are my guys, man. My groups. I love those groups.
Yeah. So you're the when you were growing up in school, did you take vocal lessons or everything, or you just did your thing?
In school, I did join the school choir. In high school, my I have like four younger brothers, and all five of us was in the same chorus class in high school. So we end up forming a group, and we would perform at all of the school competitions, the school plays, and the different events that the school would have, like after school programs and things like that. During the holidays, we would go to Port Town Magic, where we would uh compete in competition throughout the city and then the region and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I was enthralled into all of the musical, whatever, anything that was musical. I was in the midst of it all in high school growing up.
Yeah, I can tell, man. So how good was your ear? Did you develop your ear pretty easy? I mean, could you pick it up quick? The singing and everything, you pick it
Uh,
up?
yes. Yes. Well, for me, like, I would consider myself great at mocking somebody else. And then, and growing up listening to all the greats of Motown and the different groups, I was mocking what they were doing growing up.
Okay,
So it really, I guess, that trained my ear to be able to produce the sound that I heard.
okay. So like you say, if you can sing it, just like when you play your horn, if you can sing it,
Yes, sir.
you can play it, right? And it's the same thing,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah, you got to
Yes,
get
sir.
it.
That's
You
right.
got to get in your head. If you can sing it, you can play it. If you get, you know, so
Yes, sir.
that's all right, man. So did you actually did you, oh you said you got into some uh talent competitions and all that stuff too, right? You did talent shows growing up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then at 14 you on the road. So how did that work out, man? How were you able, so how did the school thing, how did all that stuff work out?
Um, so I mostly traveled on the weekends. Um, my uncle was my he was my drummer, and at the time my mom was my she was one of my managers. But like, yeah, we traveled on a weekend, and then whenever it was anything locally in Virginia, I would also be a part of those. I performed at a competition that was held by Timberland. Um, Also, there was another one I was a part of that was held by Pharrell Williams
So they all from
here.
Virginia, right?
Yes, these are Virginia. These are Virginia legends.
Yeah.
Um, and I also had a chance to be a part of something with Sony Records, the same record company that Michael Jackson was a part of during at the time. Yeah, like, so I had an opportunity to write a few songs for them, and I'm doing all this as a young man. Um, but yeah, like most of my influences, as far as music wise, it really helped me uh like build an ear for any sound, and now that I am playing a saxophone, I bought my alto saxophone in 2020 during COVID.
Okay.
And the crazy thing about that, I couldn't play a lick when I bought it.
Right.
So I I was kind of, and to me, I was kind of behind, and I was only what 6 years ago. I considered myself behind because I was always intrigued by the saxophone, and for some reason, the look, the sound, everything that comes with being able to play the saxophone, it felt like it was a part, like it should be a part of my repertoire.
Right.
And my cousin, my cousin was he plays tenor. He's a saxophone player he's been playing for like 50 years. He he told me, he said, man, I think I was 22 at the time. He told me, he said, um, I think you should pick up playing a horn. He said, I think it'll fit, it'll really give a compliment to your look, your style. Because when I was 14, like I said, Motown was my influence. Nobody my age was really into that kind of music. I mean, we grew up listening to it because of our parents, but
Right.
none of us, no, none of my peers was trying to recreate that style of music
Right.
because it was considered old school,
Yeah.
you know. And me being a young man and going around performing these songs, I felt like because they were the ones who paved the way for singers like me, I should do something to give homage to what they, the accomplishments and the efforts that they gave during their times. So I felt like it was a responsibility of mine to really to recreate that, because what I paid attention to was the at the time the essence, all of the message in the songs back in those times, and also how society was. I mean, um, people in that time had more respect for themselves and each other and others more than they do today. And I think a big part of that has to do with the music. And the music itself was a product of the feelings and the thoughts and the knowledge of the people that had the respect and had some decency. And that stood out to me because I'm like, I'm looking at my era of me growing up. We were, I guess they call us the generation, the
Gen
no,
Z or
no,
whatever.
no, we were the millennials. We're
Oh,
we're the
millennials.
millennials.
Right. Right. Right.
So the millennials is the generation that was able to be raised up with the last of that essence of back then. At least we were raised with it
Right.
because our grandparents were still around and our parents was older. The
Right.
parents nowadays are significantly younger, and the
Yes.
grandparents are significantly younger as well. So
Yeah.
a lot of those core values and principles, they don't stand today unless someone was really ingrained in somebody today. But it was taught to us and instilled in us when we were, when I was growing up. So and it expressed itself through the music of yesterday. And for me, I told myself that I can't go in the studio, I can't compose or recreate or even write a song without using to inputting the essence of the music of yesterday, the times, the way people were, how the artists expressed themselves, the type of music, the style, everything from yesterday. I was implementing it in with my repertoire, and because I felt like I said before, it's a responsibility that I had because those people paved the way for me. And looking at the time where I was growing up and artists was making music, not too many artists of my peers was trying to, like I said, trying to make any music like that. They were going with what was current,
Right.
and what was current in the 2000s was a lot of rap and more raunchy and very 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 vulgar music that was becoming, created. And I didn't see myself as being that type of person. So I didn't want to create that type of music to I guess to have people thinking that that's how I was.
You know what, bro? I respect
I
you
was more
even
in
more.
alignment with the music of the ideal.
I
Thank you.
respect you even more, brother, because that was so eloquently put. Everything you said, man. And, I'm twice your age, and you sound like me because that's where it was. Like I said, back
Yeah,
there, when they said I want to go outside in the rain, they didn't say I want to go outside and I want to do all this, that, and the other. I want to go outside in the rain. You know, ain't no woman like the one I got. They weren't saying, uh, Shawty, you remind me of my Jeep and all that stuff. They were talking about something. You know, that's how songs were back then. But it's a lot different now, like you say though. So
right.
kudos to you, man. You know.
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that about you, man. So let me ask you about a dream collaboration. If
Uh,
you had somebody either play sax or somebody to duet with, who would be some of the people you'd like to do a duet with? Vocals or the sax?
can you hear me, Mr. Parks?
I got you, brother.
I got you, brother. Okay, that's better.
So who would you
Now you
like
said
to
you were
do a
going to ask me
collaboration
something.
with? Yeah, who would you like to do a collaboration with? Whether a singer or playing the sax with somebody.
Well, singer, as far as a singer, my one of my biggest musical influences, People Bryson, just recently passed away, so that ain't gonna happen.
Right, right.
Um, God rest his soul. I swear, man, I thought I was gonna meet him on, and he had a tour, and he stopped here in Virginia, but I was busy at the time, and I couldn't get to his concert. That was the my one chance to really meet him. But sax wise, man, it's like the sax players of today. I would like to do a collaboration with Boney James
Yeah,
and I would say Patrick Bartley. He's a big YouTube influence.
yeah, he's great.
Um, the brother, the guy, his name is Jay. He has his company called Better Sax. He's big
Jay
on YouTube
Metcalf.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
Jay Metcalf,
yeah, yeah.
and also it's a guy. One of Jay's influences. I forgot the man's name, but he have so many interviews with so many great saxophone players.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
it's so many I can't even name them all.
Right.
Marienthal,
Oh, Eric Marienthal, yeah, he's great
that's
too.
his name. Marienthal.
Ooh-wee, yeah, yeah, that's all right,
Yeah,
man. So, hey, what are you playing, man? You're out
yeah.
to what brand are you playing?
I'm using a Yamaha brand.
Okay. What mouthpiece and reeds?
Say it again.
What mouthpiece and reeds are you using?
So I just recently bought a mouthpiece from the Better Sax Company. They have their custom mouthpieces,
Burning?
and I use I use a three, a level three mouthpiece.
Oh, three?
I'm sorry,
You mean
level three
reed?
reed.
A
I'm
three
sorry.
reed?
Reed.
What tip
Yes, I'm
opening?
sorry. Yeah, level
Six,
three reed.
seven, 6 or 7 tip opening for the mouthpiece?
Mouthpiece six.
Six, yeah, yeah. That's what I use too, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you about practicing the saxophone. So, are you taking lessons, or are you just doing it on your own, or did you take lessons?
So I'm a with God's horns is the most real practice I've been getting. But I haven't actually taken any classes or any like guided practice or anything like that.
But you're playing in the
But I
band
would
though,
love
so
to
you've picked
learn
it up,
fully.
right?
Say it again.
So you're playing in the band, so
Yeah,
obviously you picked it up. So I mean, you there with them, so you doing your
yeah,
thing, man.
yeah,
How often do you practice?
yeah. I'm so I'm gonna jump back a little bit. So in 2024 is when I actually picked the horn up because we that's when we went. That was the first time I performed on Dr. Bobby Jones' TV show in Nashville. So that's when I picked the horn up. That in that month, yeah, like April 2024. So from there, I began to just, I still wasn't really officially fully playing anything, but I was just learning from the guys that were around me. Um, but skipping all the way to now, like what last year in October, I started practicing hours a day to be exact,
Yeah.
while working a 9 to 5. Like I couldn't wait to get home just to pull the horn out and start working on it, man. Like
Yeah.
I would get off maybe like 5 o'clock, and I probably wouldn't finish until like midnight.
Wow.
Just on YouTube,
Hmm.
going through the beginner steps of how to play a note and the different type of strategies and things like that. 10 hours a day, because someone told me, a very exceptional horn player told me, he said, if you just do it an hour a day, you should be good enough to play something 2 years from now. He said in about 2 years you should be a pretty solid saxophone player. And I'm just like, okay, an hour. And I'm like, wait a minute. So if I become in 2 years, if I play an hour a day, in 2 years, I'll become a pretty decent saxophone player. I want to be better than decent. I want to be better than a pretty good saxophone player. So I want to put 10 hours a day.
There you go. Yeah. I hear you.
And I utilized my spare time. I took a lot of things out of my schedule that I really didn't really have to have on it, because I want to get to that horn. Every time I would come home, it's like I'm waiting to come home to my wife or something. I'm going straight to the saxophone,
Yeah. Yeah.
And ever since then, I've been putting in like 10 hours a day. And on time on the weekends when I'm not working, or I'm taking that horn out and I'm doing it. I'm practicing every chance I get.
You doing long tones, overtones? You do overtones?
Long. I haven't started doing overtones, but I'm still learning the master the long tones and things
Yeah.
like that. Because
Right.
to me, I'm still in the beginner stage. I'm a person where I want to be able to master something before I move on to something else. But I can play a few things by ear, and because I'm a singer, I can play what I can sing.
Right.
But I want to know the fundamentals, because I don't want to have to go anywhere and when I'm in a gig and I bomb it out. I don't ever want to do that. That's why I really haven't performed um solo with the horn. If say if I'm doing like an R&B song, like let's say I can play A Night to Remember by Shalimar on the saxophone. I
Okay.
can play that.
That's good.
Um but but I want to be able to understand and to know the technique and the fundamentals, because I don't want to just do freelance R&B. I want to be able to go walk into a jazz house and be able to hang with the fellas
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
one day.
Well, there's a lot of good books out there too, though. Universal Method and all that kind of stuff. Like this book right here is one of the
Mm-hmm.
best
Uh-huh.
saxophone books. Universal Method. It has like
Mm-hmm.
everything in it, man. It's a really good book, man. I would definitely recommend that along with others. So, but
Universal
yeah,
Method.
man. But so what do you do for vocals, man? What kind of warm ups and everything? How you maintain your voice, man?
So what I do is, well, I'm constantly singing every day. Like there's not a day that go by where I'm not singing, snapping, humming, clapping. Like I even whistle in tones, because music is like, if I tell people all the time, if I slip my wrist right now, musical notes are going to start rushing out. Like I'm enthralled in music all day, every day, no matter what I'm doing or where I'm at. I'm constantly singing and working on breath techniques. I have I purchased a voice enhancer. It's just like a little black whistle. It's by Better Voice, the company Better Voice. So they have a method. This device is literally like a whistle, and it has certain settings on it that you can have more resistance when you're blowing through the whistle. You can open it all the way up, and it'll be a clear. It's like playing a saxophone.
Oh,
And
okay.
then you also can add some resistance by closing, bringing it to a lower setting to give it a little bit more resistance for the back of your throat for your vocal cords. So that's what I work on a daily basis. And then once again, I'm always singing something, so that's just stretching out my cords all the time and having them prepped and ready for whenever.
You know,
I
that's
do
good.
this every.
That's good you say that because you're thinking about the voice. When you sing, you have to have an open throat too. And with the saxophone, it's
Yes,
all
sir.
about open throat.
Yes,
So that
sir.
helps you already then, right? You already
Yes,
ahead of the
sir.
game. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
the
sir. And
dive
it enhanced when I started really playing the horn. That also enhanced my breath control and singing as well.
right, because you still doing it from you when you sing for the diaphragm as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Man, you see how everything just kind of ties in, you know?
It does. It does.
So how are you on theory, man? Did you learn all your scales and all that?
So that's where I currently am right now. Because like I said, I want to know the fundamentals. I can't. What I'm working on is scales and long tones at the moment.
Yeah.
Because when I started playing, I never started with theory. I just started playing
Right.
anything that I heard.
Hmm.
So now I've really got down to the discipline and started learning theory and because I believe that once I learn theory, then everything else is going to fall in place.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I agree, man. Yeah, I'm taking lessons now. I played off and on. You know, saxophone like anything else. You get out of what you put into it. So I
True.
started 30 years ago, but I didn't really practice. You know, I didn't like to practice that much. So I kind of stopped. So the last 8 years or so, I've been constant with it, you know, and I'm still taking lessons right
Right.
now. And things that I should have learned, like
Okay.
you're doing the right thing. Learn your
Okay.
scales. Definitely learn the scales and stuff because I didn't do that. I was just messing around, and now I'm trying to learn all that stuff. So you get it while right now, and like you said, later on, man, you be killing double sets, man. You know what I'm saying? You be
Right.
singing one set, then you hit Boney on the next, man. You know
That's right. That's right.
that's what you want to do, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
now, in your plans, do you have plans in the next 5 years? What do you see yourself doing in the next 5 years? Where would you like to see your musically?
I see my musically. I really see myself starting a small music company of my own, and it's going to be geared towards taking having retreats for musicians for us to travel somewhere to get to know each other and really look out for each other because what I've been hearing in the music scene is and when it comes to musicians is a lot of musicians don't make a lot of money when it especially in Virginia like the musician scene a lot of musicians talk about it's not a lot of money out there and I'm just like well I believe that if you're good at something you have to find a way to monetize it in so many different ways. But as far as the unity when it comes to musicians here, it's not a lot of unity. So a lot of people don't really get a chance here in the music as a musician to really flourish because I'm sitting here listening to all these musicians, all these horn players that are in this area. I'm just like, you guys are still here, and they talk
Hmm.
about, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that. I'm like, well, why don't you guys come together, put something together so that it could be 10 times less the work you have to put in, but more of you having the time to put into your craft and to have something and it become lucrative at the same time. So I don't well, I've seen a lot of musicians get discouraged, a lot of young musicians get discouraged, and
Yeah.
now that I am officially a musician, I like to give back to the generations that's coming behind me. And how do I do that is I give them encouragement because when I was in chorus class in high school, a lot of my buddies played instruments. They were in the band, but a lot of them didn't become professionals at music. When playing an instrument can take you many different places around the world
Yes.
if you really put your time and dedication into it. But I know life happens and people go other ways.
Yes.
But I want for those young musicians that are coming up behind me, I want to be able to give them encouragement and let them know that you have a support system, and the support is other musicians because that's what's needed in the musician's scope and the musician's verse. I know at least here in Virginia, and I know it's in other places as well. Um, that's what's needed, and right now, and me growing up when I was, coming up, I didn't really have a lot of people encouraging me and have a support system and somebody in my ear really guiding me. I just had my talent is pure raw talent. So I had to learn to hone my skills and study and follow other people and learn the different techniques and the different methods that they use and add it to myself so I can have some sort of stability when it comes to projecting and pronunciation and having diction and all of those things. I had to learn those things by watching and listening and learning. So I would like to create. Well, in 5 years, I see myself having a musicians retreat company where not just musicians, but vocalists and things of that nature to come out and we all travel somewhere to go hang out, get to know each other, spend time, and really support each other and have that experience because music from my experience coming up being an entertainer and a musician is really hard because there's like I said there's no unity in these spaces
Right.
when these are very lucrative industries, and if you know the right people and put enough time and dedication into it, it could really change your life. But and that's like I said, that's why I want to create the retreat and the company so I can shed light on the beautiful parts and the lucrative parts of these industries when it comes to being a musician and an entertainer because a lot of people struggle with that here and abroad.
Speak it into existence, brother. I tell you what, man,
Yes,
you
yes,
got some, you have some. I like your positive attitude because you have to believe in yourself, and you have to, and like you said, and it's nice to have people that encourage you, but you still got to
yes,
encourage yourself at the end of the day,
yes,
you know,
yes,
because you have to
yes.
put in the work. There's a saying that if you do anything 10,000 hours, you become an expert. That may or may not be true, but it sure won't hurt you to put that 10,000 hours in,
Right.
though, right? You know what I'm saying? So,
It sure won't. You will
yeah,
learn something.
yeah, you learn something every day, and I'm sure the way you are, you when you just let me ask you about your projects, man. You had one, Nothing But Love. Is that coming out?
So nothing but love. Okay, so that's what I didn't get the chance to talk about. So in 2020 during COVID, I signed with an independent label company by the name of NYLA, New York, Los Angeles, and the owner of the company, he was a trumpet guy, a trumpet player, jazz trumpeter from the 50s, and he so I ended up signing 2 years with him. And how I met him, just I performed with a lot of bands coming up in this area. So a lot of people, most of us know each other because of the circles that I went around. So and most of these people that's in the different bands, they interchange musicians back and forth. So everybody know everybody for the most part. So one of a co-performer ended up introducing me to the trumpeter, and when he told me, he said he wanted to start an independent. He's from New York. He said he came here to Virginia to start an independent record label. And I said, okay, cool. And he said, you have the style that I like. He said, your style is it's not new. It's kind of reminiscent of my time when I was coming up in the 50s.
Right.
So he said, I would like to work with you. We can sit down, draw up a contract, and see how we can work together to create something. So that's what ended up happening in 2020. Um, the relationship didn't last nothing but 2 years, and one of the reasons why because of a lack of understanding and support, having a support system. Um, he wasn't really